All right, welcome to part. I don't know what part we're at. This is quite the message. We're breaking it down. We're going to be breaking it down for a little bit to continue to understand it. So, of course, as always, go where you feel called to go. Our heart knows the way. It may be illogical. Now, so we're building this bridge, we know, and we're meeting up on the land of the in-between. But we found out that there's a challenge to this, right? And we're not going to get angry with our challenges. And if we are getting triggered and we're going to get angry, there's an opportunity for growth there. So we'll honor it, okay? We'll honor it. Because we're learning that life isn't fair, but we can co-create anew. That we're in charge. We don't, this is about having total power. This is about being in charge. And we understand that each of us is in our own unique ship, unique to us, okay? But we're all in the water, the ocean together. And each of us is learning how to navigate and be in charge of our ship. And many of us don't know we're in charge of our ship. Many of us don't know we're each in our own ship. Many of us don't know that we're all in the same water, right? And we're all coming together to with our own unique universes connected to this universe, and the universes within the universes, to just wake up to all of it, our connection to all of it. Remember, from a nightmare to a dream, and we wake up within this dream. And when we wake up within this dream, what we're learning how to do is we're learning how to stay awake and not fall asleep. Because we got here because we fell asleep again. And the divine woke us back up. Get us back on track, back on track. Remember, we needed to find our way. But as the divine uses everything, if the divine teaches us anything, nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. Everything is an opportunity. Everything has a use and a purpose. Even if we don't understand it, it does. And this I feel it goes back to full circle. When we started off, I was trying to tell a story of I'd ended up watching someone's video on YouTube, and they were making fun of the New Age community, saying New Age community is a religion. And, what we're doing in it is not of service. And that's not true. Look, there's good and bad everywhere, and good and bad is a perception of where you're at. There's dark and light everywhere. Look, creation is everywhere. It's all of creation. And when we've gone home, when we go home to ourselves during this process of what's happening here for this massive expansion, we're seeing this, we're understanding this. We're understanding we're all one, and we're seeing how we're all connected. This is part of this mission to, and accepting, this mission and why we're here. This is literally part of the story of us, why we're here. It's all of it. It's all of it. The good, the bad, the dark, the light, the yin, the yang, and everything in between. It's all part of creation. And we're untwisting it. We're just untwisting it to heal. We're shifting patterns. We're elevating. We know this has to do with coming home to the singular mind. We're not living in, we're not living in and co-creating with the mind of duality where we're separate and, our ego is running the show. We've gone home to the singular mind. We're expanding our soul with our spirit and stepping into who we came here to be. And we're doing the work. And it's hard, right? It's hard to face our pain. It's hard to face our fears. It's hard to transmute these things. But this is the true gifts. And this is the real mission. We've uncovered it. And this is getting lost in unconditional love of self and life and the story of us and our expansions. And yes, where things didn't work out, where things were unsupported, where we saw horrific things, where we experienced horrific things. But we heal with the story of us as it's just all a part of us, and we're going to cut ourselves free from our past, and we're going to step into a deeper level of being a co-creator here and what that means, and co-create anew. That's what we're being gifted with, this opportunity. Okay, so there's a possibility for union here, But this is not of the old way of thinking what union was. This is the new way of thinking it, because remember, we went home to ourselves. We saw the light. We saw what's of us. We saw our connection to everything, to all of it. We've been talking about what that has meant, right? Because this union is happening from within to without. This union, we're not even caring about this union without. And I don't mean care. You use the words care properly. Of course we care about this union. Of course we care about it all. We're unconditional love. We care about everything. But we are not focusing on this without, because that would mean we're separate. And that would mean we're in the mind. Separating ourselves from things. We're not separating ourselves from things because we're going home to the heart, expanding our soul with our spirit. This is of the singular mind. Our thoughts, our mind is in alignment with our heart, our feelings, and we're going to think and feel it at the same time, and we're calling it in. We're calling it in. Okay? We're not worrying about this bridge being built without. What we're focusing on is this elevation within. And this elevation within is intense, but it's also beautiful. Because we are learning how to take the sadness from our past and what hasn't worked out and everything, and transmute it into happiness. And we're going to be able to do this again and again and again. We're understanding the formula to this, okay? So this elevation is connected to this. And it's union within. We went home within, and then what's the natural balance to this place? We expand within. Remember, vector equilibrium within. I'm creating the phi ratio, the golden ratio. I'm becoming golden. This is me stepping into my divinity. So I have to equal the same within as I do without. So I'm going to stop looking without. I'm going to go within and expand my soul with my spirit. And it's part of the dream. And it's part of how I'm coming together. And it's part of union. And it's part of the reason that why I'm here. And I'm accepting all of this. But I have to use my sadness and my connection to everything that I've experienced within the lower world in order to get here. I need to be whole. So remember, this has to do with sadness and using what's lower vibrational as fuel to get to where we're going. We know scarab beetle spirit, and scarab beetle teaches us to use what's toxic as fuel to get to where we're going, so we can create an even bigger elevation, thus transmuting what's toxic and creating higher vibes, literally burning it off as fuel. So we transmute it, right? And literally the scarab beetle also teaches us to move our shit out of the way. Use our shit to get to where we're going. We become whole. And we know that this is also connected to having this experience of sacred lust. And see, we have to drink from, we're seeing where we're drinking from the cup of lust to see how we're connected to it all. And yes, we do have needs here that we're honoring. I just didn't come here, to be to not be my human self too. And I need to see that. I'm restoring balance. But because I have needs that I have to meet, but I'm not meeting them because things are twisted for me. I have to see how to untwist them. But I'm not going to go and, create with lower vibrational patterns that I know are going to keep me stuck, sick, and stagnant. Caught in a karmic loop. I'm cutting myself out of this loop. I am having an elevation, but I have to honor that I'm having this elevation with sadness. And a connection to sacred lust and the experience of sacred lust. And this is how we see we are connected. This is that how, many of us came here to heal, to be healers. And this is, see someone who wants to be a healer. I came here to be a healer, but they don't want to, they're judging, somebody who uses drugs, or judges somebody who drinks, or judges somebody who's watching pornography, saying, well, you don't deserve healing. No, we all deserve love. We all deserve healing. We just have to see how to untwist it and act on it. That's healing with the force. That's healing with the Father. Okay? It's the action part. So, We're going to use our sadness and we're going to use our lower vibrational experiences to elevate and to continue to create this bridge. Because yes, we do. The story of us is part of us. Okay? The story of us is part of us. Remember, but we have to let something go. Our past. Okay, and our 10 of Cups. And how we were creating it. So this is what's about to happen here. So we know, we discuss, we see that there is love within the cup. We asked specifically for a message for the cup of lust and a cup of love and the cup of love. And in the cup of lust, we got the Father of Cups with the Daughter of Cups, right? And the Lovers. We know thus having our connection to the masculine, but this is, and the feminine, but feeling insecure. And of course the cup, we're feeling insecure here, but we are naturally a nurturing being. And reflected back, look, was the light and our connection to the Daughter of Cups. And this is actually our connection to creation. The Daughter of Cups symbolizes our connection to creation. And the next card in the sequence is love. So we're seeing our connection to creation and how our insecurities have us still wanting to feed from the cup of lust. So we're going to heal from our insecurities by seeing that there's love in this cup. We need to see that there's love in this cup of lust so we can heal from it. So we can restore wholeness, so we can restore unconditional love. And we know that when we look in the cup, and this is where we liberate guilt and fear. Okay, this is where we liberate guilt and fear. Because we need to liberate ourselves, because we still need to finish seeing our true self. We still haven't seen our actual authentic self yet, because we have to liberate ourselves from guilt and fear. Because this is about our true state of being and a reconnection to our relationships and self and others. Remember, in that sword is our truth. And in that cup is our connection to everything, and we want to express it. That's how we're meeting up here. We are feeling called to express it. We want to express this. Okay? But right now, in order to do so, we're in the time of transmuting pain. And that's because we're being called to take our sword. As we know, when the swords meet the cups, night turns to day. And we know that we've been gifted our sword by the angels. Remember, this has to do with an angelic attunement. We were called by the moon to have an elevation with our frequency, but we had to go within, and we talked about this on part 1, 2, and 3. We have to go within in order to do this. So we go within, we access our truth, we see what we need to see. We know we're going to flower from the mind, because we're going to leave the mind of duality, I think, and we're going to go home to the singular mind of the heart, and we're going to expand through the center point. We're going to flower from the mind. And remember, this is the bridge of the land of the in-between. We're meeting up in the center point. So we need to access this center point. Look, we're meeting up in the center point. So what we're being asked to do with this sword that we've been gifted by the light, because remember, we're stepping into a deeper level of co-creators here, is we're being asked to take this sword and cut away our 10 of Cups. Remember, from a nightmare to a dream. This 10 of Cups is still connected to the cup of lust and bonded to the devil energies that we were trying to create, and it was still of the mind that's separate. So the divine, the light, is literally asking us to cut our past away and what we were creating here, and to step into a deeper level of co-creation with our flame and the singular mind. And remember, where our perceptions, the swords, our truths meet the cups, and how we go from being responsive and healing from being miserable, and we want to express it. We have to expand with our light. We have to expand ourselves. This is our soul's expansion. So we're gonna trust with what we've seen. We're gonna trust that what this 10 of Cups that we are creating is going to be even higher vibed, and we want it to be higher vibed. This is about our best life, and our best life is connected to everyone else's best life. We're all one. So we're going to cut away. We're going to take the sword and we're going to cut this away. And now that we've gone home to the singular mind, we're going to co-create this anew. But this is the thing. We're not going to focus on building this without. We are building this within. With us, with our flame. And remember, this is about using sadness, right? We're going to use all this, remember, because that's how we're building this bridge. We're building this bridge with sadness. You see the bridge here in our connection to the 5 of Cups. And remember, 5 plus 2 cups is the 8 of Cups, and how we got here to begin with. We're still honoring those 2 cups. We're going to use our sorrows from having to cut away this dream that we have been creating to co-create it anew, from a nightmare to a dream. Remember, these twins experienced the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highest, so they could expand through the center point and get into a deeper level of co-creation and anew. But remember, being able to heal from where they have been bonded to the devil energies in their past. Doing work, clearing for their family bloodline. Getting to a deeper level of love for all of us. Okay? So we're going to use our sadness to when we cut away our past and cut away all that hasn't worked out, all this stuff that we experienced in our childhood homes that we've seen that we no longer want to see. And, you know, co-creating this 10 of Cups from the dual mind, not the singular mind, that, you know, there's a sadness here that is honored, and we're going to use it, remember, to elevate ourselves. To elevate ourselves even further. Where did that go? Right here. And new growth. New growth is honored. Okay? And this is because we're moving away from the South Node. We're having an ending with the 10 of Swords. Remember, we're having an ending with the mind, and this is connected to this experience of sacred lust and expanding with our life's purpose, our 10 of Cups. But now we're putting in new blueprints for this 10 of Cups. Now we're putting in new blueprints because, remember, this is of the singular mind. We're understanding how to expand this, and this is even higher elevation than what we were having to begin with. Right? Because we move away from what was toxic in the 8 of Cups, where we were still bonded and was holding on to us being able to get here in the 10 of Cups. But we're going to be able to get here. Why? Because we're destroying what needs to go. We need new patterns. We can't do the same thing that we've always done and create with patterns of the past, our past self, and get here to this higher vibe space and place. Because remember, this is higher vibe. This is healed. This is actually healed. Okay, we thought we were healing, but we weren't actually doing what we needed to do yet. But that's okay. It was all part of the grand design for us to get to where we're going. So we need to do more ego work. This is ego sublimination. And what we need to do is we need to get re-inspired. Look, we were getting tired of creating this way. Many of us were getting tired of creating in this old 10 of Cups, no matter what we were thinking, we were We are inspired to create an elevated 10 of Cups anew. But it has to do with this inner child healing. Okay, from what's happened in our past, in our family homes. So we don't continue to project that patterns out into the next generation plus. So we know we've gone home to our heart. And we went there by going within. The moon called us. Remember, this is an introspection. And looking within the 7 of Cups, right? Our illusions, remember the energy of the opposites coming together to create the whole. We saw through our illusions and we saw what we needed to see. We saw the light. We see what's of us. Because we're going home to our heart. We're going home to compassion. We're going home to unconditional love. But in order to do this, we need to see that there's love in the cup of lust and become whole. And this is going to allow us to do a deeper level of work on the wrath template, the death template, as well as the lust template. And they're all connected, okay? So when we see what's of us, remember, we saw us. We saw the light. We look into the cup. Here it is. I look into this cup, I see me. I look into this cup, I see 2. I see 3. I see 3 plus more. I see the infinity symbol. I see that my connection to everything. I see it all. So now I can expand. But I'm expanding through the heart. This is my soul's expansion with my spirit. And this is what's building this. But remember, we're not worried about it, or we would still be in the singular mind. We're going to transmute our pain. And create a higher vibe, more elevated 10 of Cups. For all of us, because we're all one. So we're going to destroy to create anew. And this is where the healing happens. But this is where we're going to use that sadness to elevate, right? Because we want this high vibe dream. It's a part of us. But remember, we've put it back in the space and place that it is here. We heal from attachment. We heal from codependency. We heal from our identity being in someone else. Because all those things are not allowing us to live our best life and expand. And we're getting re-inspired. And we're trusting that when we use the sword with our angelic attunement to cut this away, to co-create a new higher vibe 10 of Cups, and we put in our new blueprint of the singular mind, that Caterpillar Spirit is here to tell us that this is going to work out even better than we thought. But we're not worried about that from a place of ego. This isn't a luxury space and place. This is I've gone home to my heart, and I know how important healing is. I know how important it is not to pass on my trauma patterns, not to pass on my wounding patterns, not to pass on all the stuff, because I don't want to hurt the people I love. I want to be able to meet the people I love with unconditional love, because I've met myself there. But this is a high vibe. It's just, we've talked about. But because I'm unconditional love, that doesn't just mean that that you can abuse me and treat me like garbage. I'm understanding how to protect my energy. And that's why this is such a big, massive expansion. But it's also allowing us to see that we are consciously creating reality with our unlimited potential. This is that deeper connection to stepping into our purpose here as a co-creator. But remember, it's co-creation. It's co-creation. I'm in my ship. You're in your ship. We meet up on our ships. Our universes collide. Woo, magic happens. But we're all in the same water. Okay? But if you're in your ship and it's going down, I'm not jumping in your ship and going down with you. I'm going to swim up to you in my ship. I'm going to say I'm right here. I'm going to do whatever I'm called to do with our connection between our ships. But you're going to elevate your ship back up. Okay? And there's an honoring of the fact when we heal from our past and that all this stuff has happened, that's how we laid our foundations and manifested to begin with. Guys, we have to, there's a forgiveness here. There's a forgiveness honored here. Like, we can't just come here to know everything all just like that and just, no. There's a healing with time. There's a healing with the past. There's a healing with why we're here. There's a healing with understanding the unknown and loving the unknown and embracing the unknown. There's with embracing yourself, embracing this universe, surrendering in order to create more peace, in order to create more understanding. There's so much happening within this expansion. It's massive. So what's happening now that we've understood this, okay, how to lay our foundations and manifest. And we're working with the platonic solids here. You have the representation of the cube and the dodecahedron and all the other, you know, platonic solids we're creating within here, because we understand how to lay the foundation. But we needed to understand that we have, this is when we wake up, remember, from a nightmare to a dream, and then we wake up within this dream, which is reality. We wake up within reality to understand that it's much more malleable, and we can create, yes, there's certain laws here, and we want to be going with life and not against life, but it's much more malleable than we thought it could, and we can create anew. So we're connecting to our unlimited potential with creation here, but we had to go home to us first. And there's a healing here. There's an excitement. So we have a completion and an embodiment here with the crown. And look at how high we're going. We have a Merkaba activation. Merkaba. Transcendence, ascension, and you are rising up. And then we meet up without. But we're not going to focus on that. Because remember, then we be in the mind of duality. We're gonna figure this out more and more as time goes on. But what we're being gifted with right now is the fact that we know with this full moon in Virgo that we're working in the Garden of Venus, creating with love, grounding love of this singular mind, and we're getting lost in this connection with the cup and healing with this cup. And this is how we're restoring pleasure back. Restoring pleasure here, but we're still restoring pleasure through us, wherever that is. Well, we're going to just use love, but we know that this is connected to the Six of Cups, like we've been talking about. The restoration of pleasure through expanding the matter and maturing the matter and elevating with happiness. So within the Garden of Venus and all this work we're doing with the cup, we're also accessing the Hermit. Because remember, we need to grow the light within. We need to expand the light within our solar plexus so that we can elevate even further. This is about the highest elevation. We also know we're in a time of facing our fears to continue to create this. This is after we've met up on this bridge and how this is going to feel. But we're feeling this within with the singular mind of the heart. And this is because, like, literally, we've gone within. We are going within and we're facing fears. That's the time we're in. We're going in and we're facing our fears with why love didn't work out. We're going in and facing our fears as to, you know, all this stuff, just all this stuff that we have discussed and talked about here today. And I'm feeling called to expand off of it. So let's do, so where am I feeling called? No, it's everything we've talked about today. Let's go here. This is the path of the heart. And I really feel like there's a forgiveness that's being honored, and we're gonna get into that when we do what we do with this sword. Remember, because we talked about, we accessed this sword within the Eight of Swords. I don't know how many readings ago now, guys. How many messages ago now. We talked about how the feminine almost didn't want to access this sword. But, and remember, masculine, you have feminine within you. We're all doing this together. So, but we feel called to access the sword. We end up accessing this sword because spirit comes on in and says, no, like, this is restoring your confidence. You have to restore your confidence back in you, back in your magic. And that's what we're doing. And this is connected to when we cut away with what we cut away with that sword, we need to apply some forgiveness here. Because this is going to repair the actual veil, the real veil, what's natural. Repairing the veil, forgiveness. This isn't the artificial. This isn't looking behind. When you hear the veil is parted and you see what's happening behind the circus. This isn't that. We're repairing the damage that has been done to what's natural, to what's right. There's a forgiveness honored here. We have to forgive ourselves when we cut away the past. But I've been shown that this is connected to the Two of Cups. This message is connected to the Two of Cups and healing from separation, because what we were separate from is actually part of our manifestations. Remember, the energy, the opposites, the whole thing coming together to create the whole experience. All of it. It's all part of the story of us and how we got here. And because we're working on an attunement, literally something is happening here. Look at in the Nine of Cups. Look at that horn. You know, the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. And our ships are coming here. Because as you see in the Four of Cups here, there's a little crab. The cups have been knocked over. We're feeling separate. But there's a little crab and he's leaving off into the waters. Connected to the Moon card and an expansion. But this expansion is on this growth. This crab is going to grow in the water. Because why? It's going to have an elevation. It's going to have a change in frequency. Well, here this change in frequency has been honored in the Nine of Cups. We know 8 plus 1 cup is the Nine of Cups. And this is the work that we're doing in this cup. So, and as we grow this light within us, we're also changing our frequency. So something is happening here. So before actually we go to the heart path, we're going to get some tarot quickly. I just want to see what's happening here officially. Okay. We'll go here. We're clearing a shadow here too. We're clearing a shadow. Okay. Let's go to it, guys. We're going to see you at our next part. I'm breaking these up so you can meet where you feel called to meet when you feel called to meet. And each part is not an hour long. So I'll see you at our next part. Let's uncover this.